Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Katie Stazak. Good afternoon. It is a Thursday, our final 3 days of the summer meeting here at Gulfstream Park. We'll be moving over to Gulfstream Park next Wednesday, but we got a lot of racing to talk about this week. And you know what? We got they hit the Rainbow Six. They hit the Rainbow Six on Sunday. Some lucky patron better got it for $130,000 the other day. So the pick six gone. But we have a carryover today in the pick five. And the pick five, there you see the Rainbow Six will be races 6 through 11. And as I mentioned, the pick five, $20,000 plus in the pick five, which starts in race 7. We have an 11-race card today. When we have $20,000 plus in this, Katie, it's going to be over $100,000.
They bet this thing like crazy, and you know what? It's going to help you get over that little bit of a hangover about no more Rainbow Six carryover. Pick 5 is right there to make you feel better, or you can start fresh in the Rainbow Six, because I tell you what, we've seen days after a mandatory payout, next day, boom, they hit it.
Yeah, they hit it the next day. If it is not hit Thursday or Friday, there will be mandatory payouts in all our wagers on Saturday, closing day, but a lot about that later on. We're going to start today with a fast-made track, a firm turf course. And first, we want to go out and see what's happening there in Twitterland, and a horse that we know very well, Escandrea, heading off to Japan.
He is heading off to Japan, going overseas, and we will miss him dearly. He was just a brilliant 3-year-old, was going to be a heavy favorite for the Kentucky Derby that year. We all know what happened. But I find this very ironic. We're welcoming back Empire Maker from Japan, and as soon as we get him, it's like, oh, we need to give something back. So now we're going to lose Escandrea to the Japan Bloodstock Breeders Association.
Well, one of the greatest stories last year, and this year too, in racing was Speechify. You know, this hard-knocking campaigner ran very well.
Oh, my gosh, he was fantastic. He won the Mr. Prospector here. He was just such a wonderful horse, and I can't say was, he is.
Right.
He got hurt. He was on the shelf for a little bit. He's been on the work tab, working steadily, and he's going to make his big comeback up in Lexington this weekend, of course, for Team Ralph Nix, who's winning races not only here but all over the country, so we wish them the best.
Yeah, and he's got that special diet, right, that he can only
eat what they call soup. It's mostly some bran mashes, but he can't eat solid foods. He had a slightly restricted esophagus, was very sick, and the fact that he can run that well with that kind of diet is unbelievable.
And, you know, the Breeders' Cup Classic is, you know, really going to be some race. If you just look at this right now, unbelievable. Oh, it just starts with American Pharaoh, Beholder, just to name a few.
Look at the standings for the Breeders' Cup right now. If we can see this field come to fruition, wow, what a race that is going to be. And so many horses on this list coming out of races here at Gulfstream during the championship meet. Take a look at Honor Code. He's going to be a big favorite. Frosted going on to do big things from here. Keen Ice, Upstart, Tonalist, Liam's Map. What a race this will be. I am pumped. Here are the current standings, but you know, plenty of time left for those to change.
Honor Code's going to be running late. I will tell you that right now. He's going to be flying at the end of whatever happens in the race. Good luck to all those. Hope they make it to the Breeders' Cup just about a month away, I guess. Just about.
End of the month.
It's
October.
Month, right? It's October already. It's October 1st. Now, we'll get... Oh, no. We got one more thing we want to show you before we get to
Speaking of the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, we got a horse that ran the other day, and it's the greatest, one of the greatest stories in horse racing. And we're talking about our buddy Flutterby, who ran a fantastic race the other day.
Let's take a look back at the Added Elegance Stakes on Sunday. Wow, take a look at Flutterby taking the field at the top of the stretch. No one coming at her, and no one is going to get to her. She was just brilliant yet again. And you see there on the outside, that's Kiss to Remember. Remember her? She was just beaten only a length in a Grade 1 at Saratoga last time out. Flutterby says, not today, Kiss to Remember. And she wins for the 94 years young Jerry Bozzo. And after that race, he was just absolutely speechless. All he could say was wow. And then he said, maybe I ought to think about the Breeders' Cup.
Well, what a great story that would be the story of the Breeders' Cup, 94 years young, as Katie mentioned. Now we'll get to Thursday's card, an 11-race card. Our first race is on the grass, 5 furlongs on the turf. These are claimants, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life, $16,000. We're going to have 8 runners in the field. Both Katie and I went with the horse that's currently up there at 7-5, very early in the wagering, and that's Angel Falls from the Wesley Ward barn.
Well, making her first start for the Wesley Ward barn today, and anytime you see that, your ears got to perk up, because He is the essential horse whisperer of sorts. Every horse that goes into his barn, he's just excellent at having them come around. And this one hasn't been running all that badly. She stepped up to the $30,000 claiming level off more than a 2-month layoff in her last start. Held her own, dueled up on the pace, and held on for third. That was on August 7th. Going to drop in class today in a perfect spot for the new barn. And Wesley Ward, 50% in the past year with new additions to his barn in turf claiming races.
That is amazing. So we are in total agreement in our first race after 3 and second. Like Chama does her best running from off the pace. Finished second in front of Angel Falls last time out and should sit another nice stalking trip behind the speed this afternoon. Things get dicey on the front end. Maybe number 3, Like a Charm, can get the best of the 7-5 favorite early in the wagering, Angel Falls. We close it out with the 8. Angora needs a little improvement on its last.
Needs a little improvement for sure, but I thought she really seemed to take a liking debuting on the turf course and can build off of that.
Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon. 6 furlongs claimers, 3-year-olds and upward. Non-winners of 3 races in life or 3-year-olds. 7 runners in the race with no scratches or jockey changes. And this is where our first of 2 pick 4s on the afternoon kicks off. I went with the number 7 horse in here, and I really like this horse, Katie, so I'll start. And that is the 7 JoJo Cool. He's dropping back to the $12,500 level on the main track after its 2-race win streak ended when he finished third behind the next out winner called Street Rage. It was a $16,000 condition claimer on the turf. This is the only 3-time winner in the field. 7 starts, 3 wins, 3 thirds. So 6 for 7 in the money. Ramsey Zimmerman back in the saddle this afternoon.
I love the pick, really. I mean, he held his own on the turf and when stepping up last time. Before that, he won 2 in a row. Have to have him somewhere on your ticket. I did go with the 3, Diabolical IPA. He's cutting his tag in half today for trainer Steve Dwalskin. Launched a 5-wide bid and came ahead from third at the $25,000 level on August 23rd. He owns the highest last out buyer of the field, and he's the only runner to have posted buyers of 70 or higher in each of his last 2 starts. I liked that form, so I gave him an edge, but must have JoJo Cool somewhere.
Yeah, number 6, so Red and Red, he's hoping to stretch his speed to the wire after setting a pressured pace, finishing second at this level and distance. Good connections, Mike Petro, Edgar Zayas. So we're in basic agreement there. You just got to flip them around. I just had a more of an affinity to 7, JoJo Cool. Race number 3 this afternoon, 7 furlong claimers, 3-year-olds and upward. Non-winners of 2 races in life for 3-year-olds. The claiming level is $30,000 down to $25,000. Scratch the number 3 horse in here, Crazy Bull. And we have our exacta flip-flop again. You went with number 4, Royal Knowledge.
We just mentioned a horse from the Mike Petro barn. Here is another one. In his first start off the claim for Petro, the Chapel Royal gelding drew off to a 3 3/4 length victory over a sloppy track. Changed up running tactics that day to sit a little bit closer to the pace, and I really like that. That adjustment, especially here over this surface that tends to favor those kind of runners, it can only benefit him going forward, and I don't see a whole lot of speed in here, so I think he might be the one to catch.
I went with the number 6. I agree with you in there, too, with the number 4, but I put the 6 on top, and I'll tell you why. Mascherano stretching out today to 7 furlongs, chased the pace last time out. We can go in 6 furlongs, but that was on a sealed, sloppy surface that was playing better for horses that did their running from off the pace today. Leo Gabriel Jr. is the trainer, has been doing a real good job. Luca Panici returning on this consistent 3-year-old. 7 races, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. I'm going to give him a break on that race on the off track and hope he comes back. But I'm going to get the exacta box in here with the 4 Royal Knowledge and the number 6 Mascherano. And we both use number 2 Blackwater Charlie in third.
I think he might have too much to do today coming from off the pace. Not a whole lot of speed in here, but he did defeat Royal Knowledge in his last start on the 28th of August.
I'm sorry, Katie. Let's go to race number 4 and go back to the turf. The turf course is listed as firm. 1 mile maiden claim is fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $35,000. Jockey change on the number 2. Make the rider Josie Gomez, and Katie and I are going to go with the number 8 horse, Tis Our Destiny, right on top of our ticket.
You know what? I'm keying off a $50,000 maiden claimer on August 27th here in this race because all 3 of my top picks, and Ron used the same horses, they all came out of this race. Zy Our Destiny was second in that race, swerved in and out of traffic through the lane to get up for the place. She's been the runner-up in 4 consecutive starts, so has seconditis. But the last time she ran for this tag at $35,000, only beaten 3/4 of a length, and the winner went on to repeat. That was Carta Regia.
Yeah, but it's tough to take a horse that likes to finish second. But I'm in agreement. Looks like the drop is really going to help this horse today, and that's the level of competition where a horse like this can get over that, finishing second in a few races in a row. We have our second and third selections flip-flop. I went with the 5, and that is Blavatsky, and this is ahead behind the 8 horse last time out when they finished third. As you mentioned, they all come out in a race. That was 7.5 furlongs. It was August 7th. Then comes back and fades going behind her, going a mile and a 16th, and renews the rival rule today. Antonio Sano, leading jock Tyler Gaffleone. I think that that performance 2 back, I'm going to key off that, not the one last time out.
Absolutely. Going definitely here with the bounce rebound.
And you went with the 1 Simbola in second, who I have in third.
4th after dueling on the lead in that race on the 27th. Should benefit from a less contentious pace today and a 16th of a mile turn back.
Well, let's go to race number 5. 6 furlongs, maiden claimants, fillies and mares, 3 and up, $10,000. 7 in the field, no scratches, no jockey changes. Katie and I both went with the number 6, Platonic Love, who has her claimant tag sliced in half this afternoon.
And Gustavo Delgado, the trainer, he is 50% when teaming up with jockey Edgar Zayas on a 50% drop in claiming tag this year. So that might be something we'll keep an eye on. That's a nice number. Like Ron mentioned, cutting her tag in half, jumped out to an early lead, and faded to 4th on September 6th for Gustavo Delgado. Shouldn't fold under pressure today. Not a lot of other speed in here.
Yeah, and I went with the 2, and you have a third in second, Cherry's Win. This one's making a first start. Since we're really a visually impressive outing here last December, in which she closed from far back to come within the nose of winning her $12,500 career debut. Rohan Creton is the trainer. Jonathan Gonzalez. This is an intriguing horse, coming off the layoff, but boy, did this horse close really well, albeit against $12,500 maidens, but it was back during December, which was a tough time to come and win here. So I just thought off that performance, a little bit of a guess with the 2 Cherries Win.
I'm so glad you put that horse in second, because I looked and thought the same thing, and I said, gosh, what a long layoff. But the buyer that horse ran that day, higher than that of any other race by any other horse in this field ever.
Well, the horse that you did put in second is Reagan's Odyssey, exits that same $20,000 maiden race as Platonic Love.
Another cut in the tag in half. Should be much suited to this spot here. Useful 5th in the debut.
And Michelle Nevin, pretty good making horses making their second start, about 24%. Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle again. And everybody, if you follow racing here at Gulfstream Park, you know the exploits of Tyler Gaffleone. What a great year that apprentice has had. And he'll be losing his bug soon, but he won many stakes without
Saturday is his last day as a bug. Hard to believe.
Let's go to race number 6. 5 furlongs on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races live. Scratch the number 6, Abran Pass. I want to go back and show you the performance, the horse that both Katie and I have on top. And that's Super Secret. It's stepping up to face winners today. But I thought it was a pretty nice performance last time out. This horse was so much the best in this race that, going up against 2 lifetime competition, I just think this horse has proven that, you have to, use this horse even though he's going to face winners for the first time. Really drew off pretty nicely here through the stretch.
You don't need to convince me, Ron. I have this horse right on top, too. Love the way he really finished up here. That he kind of drifts out a little bit. Just kind of in the center of the track. Still a little bit of greenness there. But I think, especially in this race, he finds a great spot because a lot of runners in this field have very little turf experience and success. He already does.
Yeah, and it took him in hand. He was actually drifting out a little bit, but he was in hand. He was so much the best. The race just thought to go back and show you that performance. We are in total agreement here with our trifecta. The number 5, Special Night Action. Second to a repeat winner called Amaze at this level of distance on the turf. It was back on August 20th, now goes back to the turf after showing speed and retreating. That was a race moved from the turf to 7 furlongs on a sealed sloppy track. 2-turn turf race goes back to 7 furlongs on the main track when it's 7.5 furlongs on the grass. And I just think this horse is going to rebound going 5/8 on the grass.
Let's see how in complete agreement we are. Did you have a Braun Passot on the ticket at all originally?
No, I did not.
Okay,
I
did. I scratched into Casey Wegman, but you had him on the ticket originally, so tell me why you like him.
Well, he was trouble 60. He was shuffled back at the start when beaten 3.5 lengths on the turf. That was back on August 20th. Now goes back to the lawn. He finished a good third. He was the favorite that day. It was a rain-down-the-turf event going 7 furlongs. Once again, on that sealed, sloppy track, we've had a lot of rain that we've been dodging over the last couple of weeks, so a lot of horses didn't get a chance to run on the turf coming back to the main track. But I think everybody in here is going to have their running shoes on to beat the number 2 Super Secret, who's perfectly spotted against 2 lifetime competition.
Yes, and if Casey Wegman runs like he did during the winter on grass,
right,
he was very good then. He'll be tough.
Let's go to race number 7 today. 1 mile claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, $6,250. And this is where the pick 5 kicks off. We got a scratch in here of number 2 Centella. We mentioned there's a $20,000 plus carryover into pick 5. It is going to skyrocket. It's always well over $100,000 when we have a carryover in day. And it's a pretty nice sequence here. I mentioned with 1 scratch of number 2 Centella. Katie, both you and I have number 1 Princess Malia right on top of our ticket.
Well, she's looking for back-to-back wins today, and it was hard not to be impressed with her last race. Gamely battled back for a half-length score. First off the claim for trainer Peter Walder. That was on September 13th. The buyer she earned in that race 8 points higher than the second highest last out buyer of this group. Gonna have company on the front end, but this one more often than not has been able to have something left in reserve.
Yeah, you know, trainer Peter Walder claimed the mare 2 starts back. Has Edgar Zayas in the saddle while Tyler Gaffleone moves to the 3. Secret Memory, who we both have in second. This mare is hoping to bounce back after following a victory at this level and distance on the fast track, then comes back, stalks the pace and fades. A bit of a clunker behind Princess Malia. That was on a good track last time out. I think this horse can bounce back on what is sure to be a fast surface today. We've got a beautiful weather here this afternoon.
And you'd be silly to count out Marcial Navarro and Tyler Gaffleone, and she could sit the trip if things get a little bit too hairy there in the front end.
What about the number 4 Re-Elected?
What a nice record at this distance. 3 wins and 2 seconds from 6 starts. Has finished just behind Secret Memory in her last 2 starts for trainer Ronnie Werner, but has a freshness edge over that rival. Hasn't raced since August 28th.
Well, let's go to race number 8. We mentioned in the last race is where the pick 5 starts. We're not going to make it easy because this 8th race has 13 runners in the field with no scratches and jockey change. It's a 1-mile turf event. Claim is 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life or a race since April 1st or 3-year-olds. So we got triple conditions here, and I went with the number 11. And Katie, every time we have a big field with lots of conditions, Katie and I always pick the same horse, and we both went with the 11 Street Rage.
One of 2 Mike Petro runners in here, but this one has Edgar Zayas in the iron, so I'm going to look this way. Seeking back-to-back victories. He's won 2 of his last 3. The loss was a second. Just have to go with one of the more reliable runners in this field. Only 2, even though we got 13 runners, only 2 in this race have hit the board in their most recent start.
Well, I kept with the Petro theory here, and I went with the number 6 Havermeyer Street, who moved to the Mike Petro Bonvita claim after making that 5-wide bid and finishing 5th behind his new stablemate Street Rage. That was back on August 28th. Petro is really good first off the claim. Messi El Jaramillo atop this half of the uncoupled entry. And how many times have we said the longer price of the uncoupled entry? Always pay attention to it. So I went with the old Petro exact in here, 11 and 6. Who'd you go with in second?
Thunder and Willie. Not going to get the jump on a lot of the horses in here coming off for pace, but I kind of took a pace angle here. But between Street Rage, Louis the Brawler, and Minecraft, this one might have enough pace to run at. Kind of an excuse last time out. Far back, had to steady at the top of the stretch at a key part of the race. So we'll see if he can get a better go-round today.
Yeah, I used the 4. Louis de Brola, one of the horses you mentioned, is eligible to show more on the turf course that's favored speed lately. So this horse is one of the speed horses, setting the pace, weakening to finish 3rd behind. Who else? Street Rage on a good turf course that was tilted to horses that really did their running from off the pace. Further back during the meet, a lot of horses had to come from off the pace to win on the turf. Not been that way the last couple of days. So, by race number 8, you'll see how the turf course has been playing. Horse you might want to bump up a little bit if the course is indeed playing to speed again. Anybody else in here, Katie?
I threw in Royal Rogue drop-in for trainer David Casson. We know he's been very good at this meet, but he really hung in his last race, so that's my little bit of caution. I think all signs point to Street Rage.
Well, let's go to race number 9, a 6 furlong maiden special weight, fillies 2-year-olds. We have 9 runners in this race, and boy, I bet you Katie has the number 2, our Kinsley Doll on top of my ticket. I know I do. It's the daughter of a productive first-year sire, Big Drama, but the connections are what tilts you this way.
Well, you got to be living under a rock. You got to get hit in the head with a rock, really, if you're not thinking our Kinsley Doll in this race for trainer Ralph Nix and jockey Tyler Gaffleone's a daughter of Big Drama. And I know you've said it several times this year, really liking Big Drama, what he's doing as a stallion. He's 21% this stallion with his 2-year-olds and maiden specials. That's almost rivaling trainer Ralph Nix statistics with his 2-year-olds this year. She's out of a winning Medaglia d'Oro mare, Honest Gold, the first foal from Honest Gold. 12 works, 3 of them bullets. Gotta go this way.
Yeah, the other horse that we both have in second is number 9, Catch That Cat. A promising second in a 5 furlong career debut. That was on a fast track. It's turning back to 3/4 and wearing blinkers today after finishing a distant 4th. But that was going 7 furlongs. It was in the sealed sloppy track. I'm going to go off that debut performance. Peter Walder, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. I don't know if it's going to beat the number 2 in here, our Kinsley Doll, but number 9, Catch That Cat, a horse you certainly have to give a second look to and put on your exacta or trifecta ticket.
Absolutely. Turns back, blinkers on a dry surface. Got to have it somewhere.
Now, I happen to know your mom, and that's why I don't know if that's the reason you picked the number 4, because she is an awesome mom.
I got to get some brownie points for this selection, right, Mom? Are you watching? My awesome mom I've got on my ticket. Marty Wolfson, this is actually the first 2-year-old he's sending out of the year for the Alters Racing stable. Daughter of Awesome Again is out of a dam that won 11 of 19 races, including 2 graded stakes. 2 winning siblings to mention. The works have not been blazing, but I like that they're consistent, and I like what Marty Wolfson does.
The horse I threw in third was Proud Lady, shortening up today to his 6 furlong or 3/4 of a mile distance. Stalked the pace, finished a screw-tightening second, going a mile. It was on a sealed, sloppy track. Phil Combes is the owner-trainer. I just thought this horse has reason to improve this afternoon. It can be on the ticket, but you know the story about Ralph Nix, so don't tell you we didn't tell you first about it.
You've been warned.
Yes. Race 10, 6 furlongs, an allowance optional claimer, 3 and up, $16,000. Scratch the number 2 horse in here, of course. And Katie wanted to go back and show you a race from September 11th. A couple of horses that were in that race are going to come back and do battle again today.
Yeah, you're going to take a look at Color Me Pom Pom and Gallardinato. This is back on September 11th. It's a race under these pretty much identical conditions. You're going to see Gallardinato and Color Me Pom Pom. They're going to get in a bit of a duel here. And there's another horse that's going to come out of nowhere. That is Focus on Me, and he's going to pass both of them as they get caught up in this duel. I still think they run very well and hold on for solid efforts in second and third. I think the same thing is going to happen today. I have both Color Me Pom Pom and Gallardinato on the ticket. Thought they were in very respectable races, but I think Unbridled Hero is going to come along and run them both down.
Yeah, we're in total agreement here for all the reasons you mentioned. Well, we got our second and third horses flip-flop, but Unbridled Hero is dropping into a winning spot. Comes first race, it's a head-swirling maiden victory. Everybody was talking about this horse. Comes back and is ambitiously placed in its second race. That was in the 3 Chopped Road. Trainer Ralph Nix. Tyler Gaffleone returning on this $325,000 son of a Bridal Song. I know I was very, very impressed with this horse's debut. Went right into the fire in 6 company, and I think this is the horse to beat in here.
Don't need to convince me. Completely agree here.
Let's go to our final race on the card. It's a 6 furlong turf event. Maiden claim is fillies 2-year-olds, $50,000. Scratch the number 3 horse, Playa Zaragoza. And Katie and I both have number 11, Peppermint Stick from the Wesley Ward barn on top of my ticket. But this horse is going to have to deal with that outside post, even though there is one scratch to the inside.
Yeah, definitely not an advantageous post position today. But I think this one actually, even though, dropping from the maiden special weight ranks to the maiden claiming ranks, not only that, ran in a $125,000 maiden special weight at Kentucky Downs. And we all know Kentucky Downs, that surface is unlike any other surface here, turf surface in the United States. It's very undulating and in a big field, did not break well, broke in the air. I think going to be much better if she can break better and in a nicer spot here today. A daughter of Leroy de Senemo. Gotta love the turf breeding as well.
She's like a turf first-time starter here because she put a line through that last race. The horse I used in second, Katie used in third, was the 2 Prize Arch. This one, a daughter of first-year sire, Arch, debuted for trainer Ronnie Spatz with a series of stamina-enhancing workouts showing her freshman starts a career. She gets Lasix, she gets Edgar Zayas named to ride, and I just thought one of the first-time starters in here that was intriguing. I'm glad to see you used it on your ticket along with that, but you did go with the number 9 in second.
Maidan Square, another Leroy DeCenimo filly, going to debut for Michelle Nihei. 8 published works, not the fastest, but they've been on the main track, hasn't been working on turf. I just thought she had a better turf pedigree than a lot of the others in here.
And I threw in the 5, determined to win, is going back to the grass after showing improvement when facing $35,000 maidens. That was going 3/4 on the main track. Joe Cantonese, the trainer, leading pilot Tyler Gaffleone, handling the surface switch. I think this horse has found its proper level. With this level of competition, now it's proof it can run on the turf against these horses.
And an excellent value there you're getting on a Tyler Gaffleone ridden horse at 10-1.
10-1, so that makes it even better than a horse. Don't forget, we have the super high 5 in the last race each and every day, and now you pick the first 5 finishes. Always pays in the thousands of dollars after if there's a one-day carryover. I don't know how they do it, but I'm really enamored with the guys that pick those tickets and get it done. So that is how we see Thursday's 11 race card, and we got 11 more on Friday, and we're going to close out on Saturday with our big day, Florida Sire Stakes Series finale with 12 races, first race post, 12:45. It's going to be an exciting weekend here.
It is 6 stakes on Florida Sire Stakes Day worth $1.45 million. We got 2 $500,000 2-year-old stakes. I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be a fun weekend, but we got today you got a chance to hit that pick 5, so good luck with all your selections.